My opinion is the totality of the evidence is more suggestive of a two-shooter scenario.
And the defense team in the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial, we just got word, just rested after calling expert witnesses to testify today, including one who says there was more than one shooter in the killings of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh in June of 2021. Alex Murdaugh charged with their murders, which happened that summer. Now, our team coverage continues right now from Walterboro, outside of the Colleton County Courthouse, with Michael Higdon, Emily Zuhowski, and Anna Harris. And Michael, we just heard that the defense just rested its case.
Yeah, one of the expert witnesses, Ann, was Timothy Palmbach, and he said that he was qualified as a blood spatter expert, and he was talking about Paul and Maggie's wounds. When it comes to Paul, he says that the fatal shot that he sustained to the head would have been from a contact shot, meaning the shotgun barrel would have been flush against his head. Now, he said because the shooter would have been so close, they would have been covered in various biological materials, including blood. He says it's possible that the shooter could have been injured. He also testified that Maggie would have been facing the shooter for each shot, saying that she was moving and the shooter was moving toward her. Emily Zuhowski joining us live now. And Emily, this expert believed that there would have been two shooters the night of the murders, not just one.
Michael Palmbach says he got to this conclusion that he thinks there were two shooters because, one, the close proximity of how those shootings happened. He says the gunman would have gotten biological material either in his face or his eyes. And then also he says that it would have been structurally difficult for someone to have two long guns. Palmbach says he thinks Paul was shot first and that he had no idea it was coming first in the chest and then in the back of the head. He says anyone in close proximity would have heard that, including Maggie. He says things happened fairly quickly and very close together. Palmbach says the shooter was likely stunned with biological material in their eyes, possibly injured. It would have taken time to recover from that before engaging in another meaningful assault and shooting Maggie. Next, Palmbach said, why would one shooter bring two long weapons? Because you can't handle and shoot two of them. It's too structurally difficult.
To me, there's structurally difficult for the same shooter to have two long arms and no practical reason for that to happen. Add that to what I believe happened to the shooter who fired first with the shotgun, and I think it tips in favor of the probability of two shooters.
Now, Palmbach visited Moselle on Friday. The state asked if he made those conclusions after visiting Moselle, but he said no, he made those findings before. He said the only things that he realized after visiting Moselle was two pellet findings. Michael.
Now, the state made it a point in cross-examination that defense expert witness only saw materials that the defense wanted him to see, not actually all of the materials. With all of this graphic testimony again today, though, Alex was emotional, breaking down multiple times into tears. Anna Harris was inside the courtroom, and Anna, no one but the jury actually saw those graphic images that they were talking about, but it looked like Alex was picturing everything that the expert was saying.
Michael, when the autopsy diagram of Maggie Murdaugh was presented, Alex began shaking and rocking back and forth. He even grabbed tissues, and he looked like he was crying. He was also visibly upset when Eisenstadt began to demonstrate exactly where Maggie Murdaugh was shot from. However, he did not look as upset when they were describing the graphic photos of the evidence of Maggie and Paul's bodies. As the photos were presented, most of the jury was leaning forward as both Eisenstadt and Palmbach were demonstrating how Paul and Maggie were shot. No one in the jury showed much emotion, and they seemed fairly attentive. One was visibly tired and even brought a blanket with her. When Paul's autopsy diagram was brought forward, Eisenstadt went into graphic detail about Paul's head essentially being blown off. At the same time, Alex began rocking back and forth and rubbing his head. Overall, Alex has been emotional on and off throughout the entire testimony, at one point showing full emotion, back to showing no emotion at all. And he did stay looking down or straight forward, not making any eye contact with the witnesses or the jury. Reporting live in Colleton County, I'm Anna Harris. Michael, back to you.
All right, thank you, Anna. Like we said, the defense just rested their case just minutes ago. The state says they want to call 4 to 5 more witnesses to the stand tomorrow and believe that they could be wrapped by the middle of the day. Now, at some point, the jury will be making a field trip to Moselle to see the kennels at the scene where this all happened. That was a request by the defense. The state saying that they didn't want the jury actually to see it because the scene looked different than it did back in 2021. But the judge said that if it was a request by the defense, that it would be granted. No word, though, on when they will actually be going to Moselle. Reporting live in Colleton County, I'm Michael Higdon, Live 5 News.
All right, more and more progress. All right, Michael, thank you. And remember that you can follow along with our team coverage every day of the trial at 4, 5, and 6 p.m. wherever you watch Live 5 News. You can also follow along with the trial on our website, live5news.com. Just click on the Murdaugh tab to find all of the trial developments each and every day.